Well, some folks have asked me how hard is it to shift the Blue Buzzard monster truck, and I thought I'd take a few minutes to go through the shift mechanism for the truck. First of all, we've got an automatic transmission in here. It's a GM Turbo 400 3-speed automatic, and the way the lockout shifter works is pretty simple. Right now, we're up in the park position, and if it won't move, you can't do anything with it. It's locked in there. If you want to pull it back into position, you have to grab onto this release, pull that back, and we can come back. One click is reverse, next click is neutral. One more back puts us into first. One more back is second, and then we have to pull this to go into third, but we don't really use third gear here. On this course. Everything is done in the lower gears so that we can maximize the torque. So if I push it forward one time, I'm in second. Once more, I'm in first. So as we're driving along, we're going to be in first whenever we go over a bump or we go over any cars or anything. And if we want to get up a little speed, pull it back to second. So first and second is very easy back and forth. If we want to get into neutral, we've got to squeeze, and that will, one push will put us in neutral. We can't go any further to get it into reverse. Now you see this little yellow tab down here? That's the reverse lockout. So if I push that down, and you hear that click, that opens it up. So all we have to do is push forward, and now we're in reverse. So we can come back to neutral, back to first, second, back to first, squeeze, and that'll get us to neutral, but we still can't push forward until we release the reverse lockout. That will allow us to just push, not squeeze, but just push into reverse, and to go into park, we squeeze one more time, and we're in park. So real quick, we'll go through it one more time. Squeeze gets us in reverse. Once more is neutral, first, second. We don't go to third, but if we did, we would squeeze and pull back to third. We can then push forward into second, forward into first, back to second if we need to, back to first. And this is what you'll do most of the times as you're driving around the track. You'll start off in first, pull it back into second as you do your loops around the track or your figure eights or your donuts. But whenever it's time to go over anything, we want to go over in first gear. So we'll push forward, and your instructor will say, push forward, make sure you're in first. And then if you need to get into neutral, you squeeze and push, put you in neutral, but it won't go any further. You still have the reverse lockout engaged. Reach down, hit the yellow tab. That releases the reverse lockout. Push forward one more time is reverse. Squeeze puts it into neutral. So that's pretty much how it works. While we're down here on the shift console, I'll point out a few more things to you. There is a fire pole, should that ever be necessary. We hope it never does, but it does have a fire extinguisher system set up over the engine and the fuel tank. This silver button here is for the rear steer auto return. A lot of times, some trucks out there, they don't auto return to center. This truck does. And the way that's controlled, or your rear steer is controlled, is through this little toggle switch. And in the back, there's a electric motor sending hydraulic fluid to the two rams that'll push it right or left, somewhat like a snowplow. So if I push one side, that's going to actually push the wheels to the left, which will make us turn right. So if I push right, we turn right. If I pull left, we turn left. Now, what I'm going to try and do is turn the camera a little bit, so see if I can get both the rear. Okay. You can see back here, you see the rear tire back here? Okay. I'm going to pull towards me to make a left turn, and what's happening is actually the wheels are going right, which causes us to go left. If I push it the other way and I go in this direction, let me see, you can see the tire and my finger at the same time here. Okay, here we go. Got the tire, got my finger. And you see it turning. All right. That will lock into that turn. However, we do have an auto centering system, electronic auto centering system. And the way that works is kind of up here on the dash in front, there are two lights. One to the left is a yellow and the one to the right is red. They're not lit right now, but if I reach down here and I pull up on this silver knob, that's going to engage the self-centering, and you'll see on the left-hand side the light will come on, indicating that the auto centering is engaged. Now, if I go ahead and make a turn with the rear wheels, in other words, if I go down here and I want to again push to the right, I'll see if I can get the rear wheel in here and my finger at the same time, and you'll see the wheel will turn, but it automatically turns. So no matter whether I go right or left with it, that rear wheel turns, but then it automatically returns when I let go. Now up on the dash, again, you'll see those two lights. The light on the left indicates that the self-centering is engaged. The light on the right is going to be a red one. And the light on the right, when it's red, it indicates that the wheels are not straight and you can't drive over anything, any cars, any jumps if the red light is on. Now what I'll do is I'll stay here with the camera and I'll hit the switch to turn right. You see the red light is on and it recenters. So once that light goes off, we know that the wheels are centered again. So that's the way it works, whether we go right or left. Whenever it's not centered, the red light comes on. If the red light is on, you can't drive over any jumps or bumps or cars or anything like that. So we'll hit the button down here again, and that turns off the self-center. And the last thing that's on the console down here is the push-to-talk button, so that when you're driving, you'll have a helmet on and you'll have radio communication. There are earpieces in the helmet and a microphone, and in order to communicate, you'll push down on the button, and that's called a push-to-talk. So the instructor can't hear you unless you push down on that push-to-talk. And up here is the radio. This would turn the radio on, and this would turn it off. And again, when you want to talk, just push down on the push to talk. So that pretty much covers the shift console, push to talk, rear steer right and left, auto centering on or off, fire pull, which we never want to have to touch, and the shift lever. And again, real quick on the shift lever, squeeze and pull back. That gets us in the reverse. That's neutral. That's first, second, back to first. Squeeze puts us in neutral. Push down on the release lockout for reverse. That gets us into reverse. And one more time, puts us into park. So that's pretty much how the shift linkage works. And catch us on the next video on our YouTube channel.